Welcome to part 2 of my homeschooling video for Topic Tuesday. In the first part, I did a little bit on John D. Rockefeller. So if you had a chance to go and maybe look down on a few little things in history about him, that is great. If not, I fully encourage you to, because it is very interesting once you get down to the nitty gritty. So John D. Rockefeller aside, I wanted to go in to comparing the school system with jails. It's very interesting. There's some few key facts here that I'm going to let you know about. And I mean, if you could bypass the Rockefeller thing, that's one thing. But if you don't bat an eyelash at some of these, then man, I don't know. Number one, the authoritarian structure. So we're just going, back and forth between jail and school. So you should be their authoritarian structure, not a teacher, not a principal, not somebody else. You should be your kid's role model. You should be the one they look up to. I mean, yeah, they should respect their elders, and there's different things that you can do, but you should be their authoritative figure, not letting strangers raise them for the next 12 years of their life. If you do want that, then that's weird, guys. That's definitely weird. In jail, they have to listen and look up to people, and those are full-grown adults. I get that jail, these are criminals we're speaking about. I'm not comparing criminals to students. I'm comparing the school system and structure and daily schedules to jail. What's up, buddy? Yeah, after. Give me 5 minutes. 2, dress code. Not all schools have a dress code, I get that, but a lot of them do, especially public schools. That was always a little bit weird to me. You should be able to wear what you want, but whatever. If it's not a fancy dress code in a Christian or Catholic school, maybe it's a big orange jumpsuit in jail. Number 3, emphasis on silence and order. Kids are loud. They're not supposed to be silent for 8 hours a day. And sure, yeah, they get a few little breaks to like be themselves and whatever. But kids are kids. They're not supposed to sit in a desk for 8 hours. They're not even supposed to sit in a desk for 5 hours. Probably not even 3 hours. When we homeschool, we do about 2 to 3 hours a day. Not every day, and it's not straight. I let them take breaks. We go for a walk. We get outside. Kids are not supposed to be doing that. They are supposed to be kids. Let kids be kids. Number 4, negative reinforcement. That's a big one between jail and the school system. Okay, number 5, I like this one, walking in lines and taking orders. So single file line and taking orders. Yeah, I get that there's a certain amount of discipline that you want to give your kids, and you want them to be respectful and listen and take directions. But again, they're kids, and you want them to have their own bodily autonomy and do things for themselves. If you're consistently ordering them, I'm not too sure still. Okay, then you're forming that student to be obedient. I see, honey. Yeah, anyway, number 6, loss of individual autonomy. Yeah, the body autonomy. So you're not allowed to be who you truly are as a kid, which is a kid. Kids are supposed to be loud. Kids are supposed to interrupt. They're supposed to be curious. They're supposed to do things that kids do. I'm sure, as you can hear, my kids are in the background right now. I asked them very politely to be quiet for a few minutes. They're not. Whatevs. They're kids. Number 7, abridged freedoms. Number 8, no input on decision making. Number 9, oh, actually, no, I want to go to number 8. No input on decision making. That's a big part of learning, is allowing your kids to be part of decision making. Yeah, obviously, you're not going to let them determine where you go on vacation next year or, do certain things, but to have little things like that, especially with learning, that is one form of homeschool. You can do child-led learning. But you're allowing them to learn what they want to learn about, which in return, I think you're going to retain more information as a child when you're learning something that you are interested in, instead of being forced for 8 hours, a teacher jamming all this information at you when you don't really want to learn it to begin with. And it's sad because maybe you don't want to learn it today, but maybe you want to learn it in a few years or in a few months. So that is another beauty of homeschooling, is you can let your child or children tell you kind of what they want to learn, because they need responsibilities too. And decision making is a responsibility. And you want that, especially in the household, to let them be part of it and let them make decision making, which in return it turns out to be a responsibility which molds our children. Plus, it gives them that free bodily autonomy to do and think as they want. Number 9, set times. This is the last one. Set times for walking, eating, certain activities and things like that. You can have a schedule at home. That's great, whatever. But we're a little bit more free range at home, so we have like a kind of structure that we do. But honestly, if the kids are like, you know what, Mom, I need a break, that's fine. You don't always get that in school. You don't know, if you're having a moment, it's kind of like, oh, tough titties. You're in school for another 3.5 hours before you get to go home. So anyway, those are just a few little, hey, come here, Peachy, a few little things that I wanted to touch base with between comparing the school to jail. Now I'm going to get into my reasons for homeschooling. My reason was always that I just never wanted my kids to go anywhere because I love my children. I always thought 8 hours in public school compared to 2 to 3 hours at home, it just seemed crazy. So your kids are going to public school for 8 hours, and then a lot of times they're coming home with an additional 1 to 3 hours of homework. That just doesn't seem like a life for any child at any age, or for any parent. You're going to spend 3 hours in the evening helping your kid with homework. Why not homeschool them, help them for 3 hours with all the curriculum, and then you have the rest of the day for activities, to get to know your children, to bond with them, to have your siblings bond with each other. When my 6-year-old went to kindergarten, he was missing out on crucial time with my newborn. My newborn and my 3-year-old seemed to be bonding better, and I just thought, you know what, I can't wait for grade 1 because I want him to know his siblings. I want my siblings to respect each other and know each other. I don't want them to be strangers. So yeah, stronger family bond, which is just, I feel like that's a really good thing. Oh, hang on here. I'm not going to peel that. It's washing the car seat day, so we don't want to be doing that. All right. Okay, another thing with homeschooling is you get to be in charge of their curriculum. Hey, monkey. You are not in charge of what they learn at school. You are in charge of what they learn at home. So you can teach them the correct history. You can teach them what they want to learn that day or that month. You are in charge of all of that, which I find to be a beautiful thing because there's so many things in school that they don't need to learn. My kindergarten guy came home with a sheet on anxiety and depression. In kindergarten, they don't need to know that crap. They don't need to know any of that. Plus, they don't need to be in a school where other people are identifying as different animals or whatnot. They don't know what's going on there. They don't need that at that age. Here you go, Peachy. So yeah, they're not learning inappropriate sexual education. They're not learning any of that stuff because you are in charge of their curriculum. Come here, honey bunny. All right. There we go. So just back to what you teach them, you are setting them up for success. And yes, you can set them up. There's a really good book by Judy Arnold. It's called Unschooling to University. Just because you homeschool doesn't mean your kids are forfeiting their chance at post-secondary education. You can still become whatever you want in this world with a homeschool background, which is beautiful. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick. I mentioned in my other video at the beginning, the Alberta teachers are going on a strike. They're supposed to go on a strike. I just want you to know, if there's one thing you do after that, when the strike goes on, you'll most likely homeschool. And after that, after the teachers go back, I just hope that you really take into consideration homeschooling. I think it's a beautiful thing. I know not everyone can do it. Oh, hang on, honey. Here, you can play with this one. I know not everyone can do it. But if you can homeschool and you have the ability to homeschool, you should get to know your kids. Your kids are spending 15 to 20,000 hours between the ages of 5 and 17 years old. That's 15 to 20,000 hours in a classroom, having someone else raise them and having someone else set them up for success in life. So, I mean, I'm going to leave the ball in your court. This is just the very opening of of a big homeschool rabbit hole. So I hope you do some education. I hope you, do some homework yourself and educate yourself. There's so many things past the points that I just touched base with. So please, yeah, you can take it with a grain of salt, or you can dive dive deep into more of this. Check out the jail system compared to school system, bound by the bell, you know, the schedules, the structure, everything. Check out John D. Rockefeller. He's a very interesting guy, very powerful. The Rockefellers still are quite powerful, in all the wrong ways. My tinfoil hat grows. Anyway, check out homeschool resources. I'm registered with Wisdom Homeschooling in Alberta. There's so many different boards across Alberta, across Canada, and the whole wide world. So wherever in the world you are, please, please, please do a little bit more research on homeschooling. Love your children as much as you can, and just keep them close, even if it's just for the first few years you homeschool, and then you send them to junior high or something. Just something to think about. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day.